Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back for another brand new video and the smile is back on this Nasher as wide as possible because not only did we see that vital European win that we all knew had to happen right here today, but also the clean sheets have returned, and I don't know about you ladies and gentlemen, but by God, have I missed them. Speaking of missing that, by the way, not only have I got that feeling that I can walk on water and I'm sitting on cloud 9 right now, ladies and gentlemen, which is something I do miss from watching the last couple of Rangers game, but also just looking at that team performance overall, that was by far the best 90 minutes of football that we have seen so far this season. For the first time all season long, when that full-time whistle went, I sat back and went, that is us, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we are capable of. That is the type of performances that we've came to expect, especially in Europe under Steven Gerrard, because from the first whistle to the last, we made that game ours. I mean, if you go back and you look at the stats, what do we have? Nearly 20 shots. Again, I think it's round about 19 with 9 on target, whilst only allowing Brondby to get 6 shots overall, and a big fat goose egg for shots on target. And that fact right there just feels good on the old plump bags, ladies and gentlemen. The melons are swinging the night because of that win, because again, it was a must-win game. There was a lot of pressure coming into this game, especially when the team that you're playing doesn't have to win the game or anything like that. They're coming in with a must-not-lose attitude. Again, they sat with a 5 at the back. They tried to make it as difficult as possible. They tried every trick in the book whilst the short time they were level in the game of football. So there was a lot of things going on against Rangers in this game, but every single player, in my opinion, stepped up to the call, had a moment in the game, showed their quality and showed why the Rangers players. Well, the majority, but again, we'll get on that as we go through and discuss the all game recap. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, my initial gut reaction with that full-time whistle going is just happiness and joy. And that is how I'm going to sleep the night, ladies and gentlemen, like this. But all joking and all that aside, ladies and gentlemen, enough talking around the game. Let's go ahead and dive actually into it. And while we do go ahead and do the game recap, by the way, if you didn't mind helping the old channel out, I know I always say it, ladies and gentlemen, but we are trying to tackle this 56k marker. So if you could help the channel out, that would be greatly appreciated. And hitting that like button genuinely does help a lot now, especially with YouTube prioritising short videos now instead of actual long form content. So these videos are a wee bit on the longer side. So any help would be amazing. Speaking of amazing, however, that gives us the perfect transition into the first 10 minutes of this game of football, where there was one man that was playing amazing, ladies and gentlemen, and that was none other than Joe Aribo. Honestly, involved in every single aspect because of the suspension, obviously, to Glenn Kamara. He was sitting a wee bit deeper where, again, you know, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Joe Aribo in the middle of the park, doing more defending than attacking. It's sometimes very frustrating, but he got it absolutely spot on the night, and pretty much from the first whistle to the last, he was simply unplayable. And the first 10 minutes gave us a wee sneak preview of the type of performance he was going to have, because honestly, he was just out there slicing and dicing, and it wasn't just the skill that we know that the laddie's got. It was every single time somebody tried to run at him or somebody tried to pass by him, he was getting stuck in defensively, he was bullying people, he was hassling, he was flicking the ball at people's heads. I mean, honestly, in the first 10 minutes of this game of football, Joe Aribo took a ball down on a sixpence on that Weetabix feet, ladies and gentlemen, right? He dropped a wee shoulder, he put one on his arse, and then he started to gallop like Seabiscuit, and the referee ended up falling. Honestly, do you know how good you have to be to drop one player, then drop a referee in the same move? Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Aribo was simply untouchable in this game of football, and if we can get more performances like that out of him, honestly, sky's the limit for that laddie. Now granted, he did technically sky a shot over the bar in the 6th minute, but that was after a mazy run. He got on that left foot, and you know what, I'll take him miss him 3 or 4 times a game of football. He can balloon that out of the bar as long as he's shooting, you know what I mean? Because I want my Rangers players doing that, and he had a wee go in the 6th minute after a mazy run, but it didn't quite work out. But again, it sets the tone and it shows how dangerous we actually are. And we're going to jump right to the 18th minute of this game, because it was almost in maybes for the first 15 minutes where we've shown some good quick passing, but we just didn't have that final product. But we eventually won a corner kick, and Tavernier goes ahead and puts the ball down, and the Brondby fans are sitting throwing coins at him. I think they throw a lighter at him, and you can see Tavernier picks up and he's like, what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? He's showing the linesman, and you know what the linesman's big decision was or anything like that? Wasn't he put his flag up and get the referee to come out or anything like that? No, he's like, just take the corner. Just take the corner. So Tavernier went, right, mate, you want me to take the corner? All right, watch this as you're throwing coins at me. He goes ahead and delivers a corner that can honestly only ever be described one way, and that is stonerific. Ladies and gentlemen, he drops it right where you need it. A nice outswinging corner, and Balogun just bullies. I don't know what marker he had. I don't know if it was a midfielder or a fullback or whatever, but the marking that they decided to put on that set piece, thank you, because Balogun bullies that wee laddie. I don't know who they had on him, but he bullies the header. He meets it perfectly. It's in the back of net, and from Tavernier getting coins and lighters flung at him to delivering a ball, assisting the opening goal, and setting Ibrox absolutely on fire. Now, as we are building up today's video, I would love to do a perfect transition into a guy who's known for a wee bit of fire, but before we do that, we do need to talk about the 26th minute of the game where Brondby did have their biggest chance of the game, and they threatened to extinguish that fire. Yes, I'm going to continue with this theme just for a couple minutes. Just bear with me. Sit down, have a wee drink if you want or anything. I'll be 1 frickin' second, mate, because they run down the left-hand side and we don't track the runners into the box. Stop me if you've heard me say that before. It's a simple cut back 6-7 yards out, and the boy thankfully whiffs at it with his left foot and it goes over the bar. He should have at least hit the target, and if you're being a little bit harsh, you should have burst the back of the net. So that was a wee warning sign for the midfield to actually get back and help the defence out. But as we learned in the Hearts game, if you don't take your chances, you will get punished. And within a couple minutes after they missing that clear-cut opportunity, Tavernier again on the right-hand side with Joe Rebo, just kind of talking about everything we spoke about in yesterday's preview video. We would score and create our chances out wide because how vulnerable and how poor they actually are. And with the formation and the way it works out, you always get a 2v1. We spoke about that yesterday, so if you are one of the legends that watches the preview video, nice little sneak peek for you as Joe Rebo and Tavernier does brilliant work down the right hand side, and Joe Rebo crosses it with the old right foot. And I know I only thought he used that thing to keep him upright, but he chucks the wee righty at it and it just clubs one to the back post. And Alfredo Morelos, for me, should be absolutely bursting the back of the net right now because he's got the opportunity with the header. You could say it's a world class save or anything like that, but to me it's just kind of hit straight at him and gives him an opportunity to make the save. And the ball drops to Kemar Roofe, and Kemar Roofe's like, oh, I'm offside, but I'll just tap it in anyway. And then the flag goes up and everyone's like, aye, it's offside. I mean, Kemar Roofe knew it was offside anyway. But then they did the whole VAR check and everything like that. And because of the referee falling on his arse when Joe Rebo skinned him, he had to actually run over and get something added. I don't know if it was to his ankle or something like that. But that long period of time gave the VAR assistants, whatever you want to call them, another opportunity to look at this goal. And what they went ahead and decided, ladies and gentlemen, is this was onside. Now again, it didn't show you a replay to explain why it was onside that left a certain commentator just ranting and raving that VAR has got this wrong, inconsistencies, terrible, this is clearly not a goal, Rangers benefited from a terrible call, blah blah blah. And as he's at peak rant level that they are, and VAR stands for Rangers, it shows you a replay and it shows you the guy's fit, keeping Kemar Roofe's like kind of shoulder length or whatever you want to call it onside. So VAR got it right, and that certain commentator that was greeting and slamming and going absolutely mental, crying at the moon howling heavens, was silenced and made to go like this very quickly. That was awkward that I had to come back. Just leave it. But the second goal goes in, ladies and gentlemen, and that fire we talked about was relit as Kemar Roofe gets another goal, which is now his 7th goal in 13 matches, by the way. And considering he's been a sub in 5 of those games, Kemar Roofe's having a quietly very, very good season. More of that, please, Kemar. Speaking of more of that, by the way, I was sitting loving VAR. I was making jokes again saying that R in VAR stands for Rangers. But just before I could get to half-time and really express my thoughts and opinions about VAR, we came very, very close to adding a third. And again, it comes from the right-hand side. Tavernier to Joe Rebo. Rebo to Alfredo Morelos. And Morelos is kind of sweeping effort because, again, he's not really known for connecting sweetly with efforts, let's say that, but he connects with this one almost perfectly, maybe too well, if you want to say that, ladies and gentlemen, but ends up hitting the post and coming back out, and that is it for half-time. And you're just sitting back and you're looking at the couple chances that Morelos has had in the game, and you start saying, can the luck gods no start looking at Alfredo Morelos and give this laddie a break, man? Can somebody tell them that he's on 98 goals so the man can go ahead and score again? Because as soon as he's hit this 99, he's had about 99 chances since then to get his 100. Honestly, he probably should have his 200th by now, but still, it just won't fall for the old Buffalo. And that kind of summed up his performance, because after those those two kind of chances leading in to the second half, he just kind of fell away and fell away and fell away for the game. I don't know if it was frustration or a loss of confidence or whatever, but he just instantly went from a strong, solid performance in the first 30-35 minutes of this game to plummeting right off the scene. But again, that was the only frustration going in to half-time, because it was a brilliant overall team performance from Rangers. Everyone getting amongst it. Lunny was getting involved, by the way. And even though we've won and we're all excited, we're doing one-liners and enjoying ourselves, etc., can we please remember that John Lundstrom picked up a yellow card in this game for doing this? Ref, that's hit him, lad. I'm sure he said, I've added the lad part in because he's for Liverpool. I just guessed that he said lad, but you know what I mean? He told the referee that the linesman got it wrong and that it hit the Brondby player, and the referee went, no, yellow card to you, even though it quite clearly hit the Brondby defender and it should have been our boss. So Lundstrom got booked for telling the truth. But I'll be honest with you, I was loving life at half-time, and we go into the second half and I'm just like, more of this, Rangers, because again, we've seen halves like that. How are we going to start off the second half? Are we going to come out with that vinegar again, troops? No, we never, because within 32 seconds of the restart, Barisic went ahead and passed the ball backwards when he doesn't need to go backwards for the half-time. He tries to pass it back to the goalkeeper from the halfway line. He puts the boy clean through and goal. You've got your head in hand scenario. You're like, oh no, we have not just given the game and brought this game back in. The boy jogs through. He's got all the time in the world to give the Al McGregor the eyes. But thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, the man couldn't hack it being 1v1 versus Al McGregor, and he thankfully hits it wide. But that's a major opportunity for them and a major slip-up from the defensive areas from Rangers, where again we didn't need to always go backwards, and again that's something that's kind of crept into our game so far this season. But I'll be honest with you, that was pretty much the only time it really did. And listen, Barisic held his hand up, he apologised and everything. He knew he messed up, and it was just about how he actually respond. And respond we did, because just a minute after that, Balogun had a fantastic block as well. By the way, shout out to him, he had an overall fantastic performance. Again, it looks like there is an injury problem that we'll speak about in a couple of seconds, but he had a big block in the 48th minute, and that seemed to get us back on track and get the ball down. And then Joe Aribo decided to take the game over down that right hand side. He skips by one, skips by two, goes into the box, and is quite clearly fouled. And now, because I know VAR and all that's here, and I hear how great the technology is and everything like that, and I'm sitting saying that R and VAR stands for Rangers. This is going to be a penalty kick. Somebody kick the ball out so we can get our penalty, because I want to call this title of this YouTube video that we VAR the people. I've got it already in the noggin, but after a lengthy look at VAR decides that clearly the fact that a Joe Aribo was tripped up isn't enough to give us a penalty kick. And that, for me, ladies and gentlemen, highlights the problem with VAR, because it's so inconsistent. It's still terrible referees looking at incidences, because nobody who's ever seen a game of football before, with the angles that they showed, every single one, it's not as if it looked like a penalty one and it didn't on the other. No, the guy quite clearly tripped up Joe Aribo, who's jogging into the box. It should have been a penalty. It wasn't, ladies and gentlemen. So to anyone who's screaming for VAR to fix Scottish football, well, that's what European referees, high-paid referees in charge of VAR. Can you imagine what Colum, Clancy and Beaton is going to be like with VAR in their hands? Oh no, that's made me sad. Speaking of sad, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of minutes later, that injury we talked about a minute ago in the video with Balogun kind of tweaking his hamstring. Now, I don't know how serious it actually is yet. Fingers crossed that it's not so, and again, I'll update you down in the comment section when I do get an update. Hopefully he's caught it early, Kenny was able to go off the park himself, and Big Bassy came on at centre back, which instantly made my bum day that. By the way, honestly, I could have picked up a diamond with the old cheeks, because the last time he was at centre back it didn't work at all. But alongside Connor Goldson, I thought he was actually very, very solid at the centre back region, which shows you just how vocal and a leader Goldson is, because it's night and day the difference in what Bassey was able to do in this game of football in terms of his positioning and keeping the line and not keeping somebody on side when he's partnered alongside Connor Goldson than he is when he's partnered with anybody else. And for the first time really in the entire game, it did start to kind of bog down a little bit with big spells of possession. You could see what Rangers were trying to do. They had the control of the game. They were winning it comfortably. They were just trying to go through the emotions and everything like that, and they continued to make changes. Alfredo Morelos came off in the 70th minute for Sakala, and I think he was very lucky to last the 70th minute. By the way, again, started off bright, but then just completely disappeared after a couple of his missed opportunities, and it was another very disappointing performance for Old Buffalo. I know he's going to bounce back, we know it, we've seen it every season, but when it isn't working for him, it is frustrating to the old max. We ended up making another couple changes about 10 minutes after that because again nothing was quite happening. We brought in Bacuna, we brought in Scotty Arfield, and we brought in Scott Wright. So again, like the preview video, I did think that Sakala and Scott Wright would come on after the 65th minute and really go after the fullbacks, and that created the next opportunity in the game because Scott Wright sets the fullback down, skips by him, pulls it back to Scotty Arfield. I'm getting it that troops, but unfortunately Arfield's effort within the box ends up clipping the bar, which shows you just how unlucky he is right now as well. Brilliant from Scotty Wright, that's what he is. He's an impact player to come on when defenders are a little bit tired, and he can really cause havoc for 15-20 minutes. And speaking of causing havoc, sort of leads us to the last major opportunity in the game of football, and it actually starts with Bassey, and I'm very delighted for the laddie because again his last performance was a bit of a horror show after a very bright start to the season at left back, but he wins it, he kind of out battles and kind of out wrestles everyone near him, and he ends up hitting a ball that I wouldn't say is a fantastic through ball, but it gives Sakala Sahan to run onto, and he shows his strength, he gets amongst it and he's able to drive and get the ball, get in a 1v1 scenario. He tries to lift it, he probably does everything right, but it is a fantastic save by the old goalkeeper. It's not as if it's just been smacked straight at him. He's tried to lift it and the goalie's got his paw on it and he hits it air, so that could have really sealed the game and finished the game off. Instead, it would have been brilliant to see Sakala score because that's what he needs to do. When Morelos is struggling and Sakala comes on, he needs to put that away to try and make that a wee change up top, but he couldn't quite do it just yet. And that really was the last major opportunity in the game of football, ladies and gentlemen. But again, there was still some good bits of play, good work in the midfield. I thought Lundstrom was excellent throughout the entire game of football. Again, Trips, he just continues to build his resume with good performance after good performance. I thought Aribo was excellent. Again, he's going to be my overall man of the matches. But I want to shout out the backline, especially Tavernier and Connor Goldsby, because they've came under fire a lot recently, but to me, both of them were absolutely outstanding in the game of football. And I love the fact that Tavernier stood in there as he was getting stuff flung at him and stepped up and went, watch this, and delivered it. That is class, and it shows you he's got a wee bit in there and a wee bit of the old fighting spirit. So I love to see that from my skipper. That's what you want for a Rangers captain, and that is the type of performance we want to see and the type of result we want to see. Now it's game on, going into the next game versus Brondby. But that's me all done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Aribo again was my overall man of match. What about you? Let me know down there in the old comment section below. What's your thoughts and opinions? Who stood out to you? Who was your man of the match? I'm officially done and dusted. It's past midnight. Get to your bed news, troops. I'll speak to you very, very shortly. But until next time, I've been Sieging Over 92. Rocky's actually down the stairs chilling tonight. But until next time, take care of yourselves. All the best and bye-bye.